just as you're sort of settling into your nice, comfortable seated posture, I want you to take a moment to consider your sits bones. So I went to see my chiropractor this morning, who's also my new landlord. And when I was much younger, I was very, very flexible and would do all kinds of and dance. And so I was doing all kinds of stretches and splits and this and that. And during the pandemic, I injured my the attachments of the ligaments to the sits bones because I decided I wanted to go back to yoga, but I'd sort of forgotten most of it, and I wasn't really with a teacher, so I wasn't knowing what I was doing. And so I did damage the tendons there. And when I went to see her today, I said, this kind of attachments onto the base of the pelvis, the ischium tuberosi, is really painful. And she said it's like these tendons, when she sees this injury, she said most often in meditators and people who are practicing yoga. So for those of you who are spending quite a bit of time sitting, what happens, of course, is you're cutting off the blood flow when you're sitting. I would recommend that you do take some time to get up and walk around. And so this could also mean if you're sitting at your desk as well. So when I say sit on top of your sits bones, we're going to be here for like 30 minutes. My suggestion is they would say 20 minutes, get up, allow the blood to flow around the body, and then sit down again. And this is mainly a cautionary tale for those of us who are older, because as we get older, things aren't working quite the same. So what she also explained was the way the tendons and ligaments and muscles work together changes as you age. So anyway, there's just a little bit of, I thought, quite interesting look at, how we sit. So shoulders are aligned with the hips, and make sure your spine is nice and long. And go to the crown of the head and relax the scalp and the forehead and the eyes, the nose, and the cheeks, that area around the mouth. Relax the temples and the back of the tongue and the jaw. And notice how when you relax the back of the tongue, the jaw just relaxes as well. Then relax the back of the head, the neck, allow the shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat, the chest, and the belly, and all of your limbs. And don't forget to breathe. And if the host could please mute everyone, that would be great. Someone's unmuted. So then just notice if there's any sounds in your environment. And where I am now is just no outside sound at all. Maybe as we get into summer that we might hear some crickets. But right now it's so quiet up here in the forest. Others of you may have people in your home, pets, children, other adults. And so just allow your mind, your consciousness to recognize, to sort of almost acknowledge that they're present. And then just try not to follow the sound, allow it to be there, and then bring it back to your breath. Just bring your mind back to your breath. Excuse me. And then just notice the thoughts that are arising in the mind. And just notice what's there this evening. However you're showing up this evening, just know that it's totally fine. Doesn't matter if you've had a bad day or a depressed day or a great day or a successful day or a happy day. Guaranteed tomorrow it will change. Even by the end of this evening, it may have changed. And however your mind is showing up for you this evening, look at it with some level of objectivity. Trying not to judge or follow any stories, getting caught up in a story. Just allow whatever's arising to arise. And, remember always to be very sweet and kind to your own heart. No judgment. So then let's bring to mind all the people of our life, our very dear and precious loved ones, these people we have very, very deep and profound relationships with. And then there's our strangers. And then there's those ones in our life who we, in the Lamrim text, they talk about this group of people as enemy, in inverted commas. But, this is the group of people that can range from somebody you just have a kind of a bit of aversion to, or they're just a little bit annoying, to someone who really has harmed you and you really do probably need to keep clear of. It's just like quite a wide spectrum. The word enemy sounds a little dramatic to me, but we do basically classify people into these different categories. There's the ones we don't particularly care about, the ones we want to push away, or we don't really want to see, or we don't really want to talk to. And then there's our very, very dear and precious loved ones. And curiously, due to the impermanent nature of this samsaric world we live in, they can all change place, and it can happen at any time. They are, however, all equal in their wish to be happy and their wish to be free from suffering and having just unbelievable capacity for Buddhahood. So think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our minds, so equally we can change that and create positivity instead. So Lama Yeshe would say, we are the ones with the power. We've got the power to do this. We can do it. No worries. So we start with this, the first of the four opponent powers, which is a power of regret. So we start by sincerely regretting from the depths of our hearts anything we have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And we think of specific actions of both our body and our speech, and then just in general, just regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others. We ourselves necessarily experience suffering in the future, and we can't bear the thought of any future suffering we might experience. We know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering, and also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we turn to this Buddha Vajrasattva, who we see as a healer for us, not necessarily a higher power. This is like a doctor. And he's got these methods that we can use ourselves to heal ourselves. So we're basically empowering ourselves. We're not handing ourselves over and it's like, oh, please fix me. I mean, please fix me, but give me the methods in which to do so. Please help me. So Vajrasattva comes to the crown of your head. And you can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this beautiful, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. It has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and they're shaped like lotus petals. And he's very peaceful. He's very beautiful. His eyes are full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. Equally, no critical thoughts towards the ones who are enemies or may have harmed you. Just loving all of them all the same. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So we have a little section here on compassion. In order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, and the very beings we have harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we've ever harmed since beginningless time. And then think of those who have harmed you and particularly have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to manifest as suffering for them sometime in the future. So I think we'll do this purification for the sake of all these beings and think, I must purify for their sake. And now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body in this formless kind of like thick black liquid. And it disappears into space, not one atom left, and, feel completely purified. So we'll think about all of that as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajrama Mimutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anurakta meboa sawa sidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawa sidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan Sawa tata gata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dita meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan Sawa tata gata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dita meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan Sawa tata gata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dita meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawa sidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan Sawa tata gata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me, sitam shiyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawatata gata vajrama mimutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hum pe. So be delighted that all the harm you have ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of your speech. Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about people behind their backs and sort of getting other people to agree with you as well. And then think of all our inappropriate speech, all the things we blurt out, all the jokes we make that are not necessarily, kind, making fun of people and sort of at other people's expense. So just think, like this, as this powerful nectar fills you and just overflows quite forcefully from the top parts of the body. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hom pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hom pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hom pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagawan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hom pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagawan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hom pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hom pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagawan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hum pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And next is the purification of a mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's the same as, we walk into a room, we flick on a switch, and the light dispels the darkness. So just try thinking like that next time you walk into a pitch black room and you turn the light on. So the same is the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, and just imagine immediately all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all your attachment and neediness and depression and anxiety, bitterness, grudges, jealousies, all of this instantly dispelled. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita Dida Miboa, Sutukaya Miboa, Supokaya Miboa, Anorakta Miboa, Sawasidi Mimpiata Sawa Kamasita Me, Sitam Shriyam Guruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Sata Ahumpe, and Bhadrasafa Samaya Manupalaya, Bhadrasafa Dina Patita, Dida Miboa, Sutukaya Miboa, Supokaya Miboa, Anorakta Miboa, Sawasidi Mimpiata Sawa Kamasita Me, Sitam Shiyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahumpe and Bhadrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Bhadrasafa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahumpe and Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Duda Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahumpe and Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Duda Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahumpe and Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahumpe and Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahumpe. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think now there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So now is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. In this time, imagine that Vajrasattva very happily sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy. So very subtle. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahumpe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahumpe and Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahumpe and Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahumpe and Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahumpe and Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Miboa, Sutokaya Miboa, Sipokaya Miboa, Anarakta Miboa, Sawasidi Mimpiata Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shayam Kuruhum, Ha Ha Ho, Bhagawan, Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe, Ambadra Safa Samaya, Manupalaya, Badra Safa Dina Patita, Dida Miboa, Sutokaya Miboa, Sipokaya Miboa, Anarakta Miboa, Sawasidi Mimpiata Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shayam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve. And this is the fourth and final step in the purification process, and a really crucial one. And this is this determination to not harm with our body and our speech and our mind. So we're making we have an aspiration, we're making a promise to ourselves, we make a decision. So nothing's going to happen without making a decision. And without making a decision, we're just going to keep doing the same old stuff over and over again. So we have to decide, oh, I don't want to do this. So once you've made that decision, then we work on something. We've got so many things. Well, we can just start working on something that's easy for us to sort of think about refraining from, easy for us to give up doing. And, you don't have to work on it all day long, all week. Just maybe pick a time during the day, a minute at a certain time in the day, and reflect. And think about maybe the delusion that sort of set the ball in motion for the negative action. So was it anger? Was it jealousy? Was it depression? Was it, jealousy, envy? And then maybe think about, refraining from that. Maybe you can counteract it. So for example, with jealousy, you rejoice for the person and then make a determination, like you rejoice that this person gets to go to Hawaii and lie on the beach for a week. And then you think, okay, that's so wonderful. Maybe I can do that in the future sometime. And then you give yourself a holiday, even if it's only for 3 days. Just an example. Or I really want to go to Nepal and look at the mountains and see all the holy places. And you feel a bit sad because you're not getting to go because you've got work and rent and whatever else going on. And just aspire to be able to go one day. So we can work it all like that. So imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us, wants to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And you think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on the emptiness. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So whatever level you understand emptiness, just place your mind there. Everything's a dependent arising. Nothing exists on its own. And everything that appears to me might not necessarily be the way it actually exists. So always good to question that. Because whatever we're looking at often depends on the state of our mind, how we perceive it. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And then we have a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, and then for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and then the long lives of all of your own teachers. Okay, everyone. Thank you very much. Lots of love. Is Source asleep there? Oh, that's so sweet.
I don't